Alright, hey guys, welcome to part 2 of our work with context clues. On the first video I posted some help with page 1 and 2, and so this is help with the page 3 I attached. Remember, I'm not expecting you to do everything. The work I posted is for your own benefit if you feel that you need more practice with what we're studying in class, okay? So this worksheet is just like the other one. We're going to take a look at the sentence and figure out what the underlined word means by using the context clues that are in the sentence. All right, so let's start with number 1. Number 1, the lost campers sweltered in the heat of the desert sun. All right, I hope you're picturing that in your head, right? So you know you got lost campers, okay? All right, lost campers, right? And you know that it's hot outside in a desert sun. So what does sweltered mean? Let's pretend you never heard of the word sweltered. Now again, you could use the dictionary, but also too, to practice with their context clues, let's figure out what some of our meanings are. We have multiple choice here, and you know multiple choice is multiple choice. Most of the test is multiple choice, excuse me. So the lost campers ate in the heat of the desert sun. The lost campers burned in the heat of the desert sun. The lost campers slept in the heat of the desert sun, or D, the lost campers sunbathed in the desert sun. Okay? Now, common sense tells you that they're probably not going to be sunbathing because they're lost in the desert sun, which you know is going to be really hot. Probably not going to be sleeping either. Okay? So if you, by process of elimination, only have choice A or B, which one best fits the sentence according to what the word sweltered means? The lost campers sweltered in the heat of the desert sun. Doesn't sound very appealing to eat in the desert sun. So our correct answer choice should be B, the lost campers burned in the heat of the desert sun. And as you can tell from all of the other choices, this is one that makes most sense according to the context clues around in the sentence, talking about how campers are lost and they are in the desert sun, which you know cannot be a pleasant experience unless you're into that type of thing. I am not. Let's go to number 2, shall we? So number 2 says, Congress put a tariff on the overseas goods so the price would not be lower than domestic products. This sentence has got a lot going on, especially if you're unfamiliar with Congress and how laws work, okay? So first, let's break it apart. You know, you've heard Congress before. You know that's got to do something with laws, you know, or a process, or something to do with the court systems, or making rules and regulations for the United States, okay? So put a tariff on overseas goods. Now, if you don't know what this one means, this I would highly recommend looking up in the dictionary. What are overseas goods? Now, I'll tell you, overseas goods are products that have come from overseas, such as China, you know, or any other place in which, you know, the products come into the United States. So those are overseas goods. So the price would not be lower than domestic products. Domestic products means the opposite of overseas products. Again, if you were trying this on your own, good time to use the dictionary and increase your vocabulary as well. Domestic products are products that are made in the United States in our instance, okay? So overseas goods and domestic products, okay? So now we know that Congress put something, remember, trying to figure out what tariff means, on overseas goods so the price would not be lower than domestic products. If you're reading the sentence carefully, what Congress is trying to do is make sure that overseas products are more expensive than domestic products, okay? So Congress put something on overseas goods so the price would not be lower than domestic products, making sure that domestic products, right, or not the domestic products have a fair chance against overseas products. Okay, so is our word going to be stamp, prohibition, add, or tax? This say Congress put a stamp on overseas goods so the price could not be lower than domestic products. Or Congress put a prohibition on overseas goods so the price cannot be lower than domestic products. Or Congress put an add on overseas goods, or Congress put a tax on overseas goods, okay? Now, context clues also tell you that you're thinking of something that would cost money. And what is our key word for that one? That we're going to know that's going to do something with money? Price. So the only thing here that would indicate a price for something would be tax. So again, either using a dictionary help or really dissecting the sentence, we can figure out that the correct word that we're looking for, tariff, is tax. Let's try number 3. I know I talk a mile a minute, but you can pause, rewind, and one of these days I'll start adding subtitles. Today is not that day. Moving on to number 3, my friends. Let's see what we get. So number 3 says, number 3 says, oh, let's see right here. Oops, eraser. Number 3, the scared rock climber balanced precariously on the edge of the cliff. What does the word precariously mean? We have choices of gracefully, lazily, dangerously, or hopefully. Okay? So you know the rock climber is scared, right? And he balanced, though, precariously on the edge of the cliff. Okay, so precariously. The rock climber balanced gracefully? That could fit. The rock climber balanced lazily? I'm doubting that. The rock climber balanced dangerously? That could fit. Or the rock climber balanced hopefully? That's not going to work either. Through process of elimination, you know, B and D would not be really good answer choices. So, precariously. Okay, so precariously means what? Still not sure. Let's try again. So we're looking for if it's going to be between answer choice A and C. Let's fill in those sentences again. So he was scared. The scared rock climber balanced gracefully on the edge of the cliff, or the scared rock climber balanced dangerously on the edge of the cliff. Okay, so if he's scared, okay, I'm sure he's trying to be graceful, right? But also take a look at what he's doing. He is balancing on the edge of the cliff. Okay, I'm sure that's got to take some graceful skills, no doubt. But I'm thinking that is going to be dangerously. Okay, because that is a dangerous thing to do if you're using context clues, using or the rock climbing and hanging on the edge of the cliff. Why don't you want to do that? Not my type of sport. Okay, again, still not sure. You can always go to a dictionary, and here precariously, as you can see, in a way that is not securely in position and is likely to fall or collapse. That sounds like the best choice here, so it's going to be pretty dangerous, living precariously on the edge of the cliff. Okay, let's try to take a look at number 4, and I'll leave the rest of this page for you. So number 4, we often travel to New England in the autumn to see the bright colors of the fall foliage. All right, so try to picture what you can in your head. We often travel to New England in the autumn time. You know what happens in the autumn, okay? To see the bright colors of the fall foliage. And in autumn time we see browns, bright colors of browns, yellow, just a hint of green, and sometimes a little bit of red, It's my favorite season, pumpkin season. Hey, I like pumpkin spice everything. So what word would most likely fit for the word foliage if you're not sure? Is it going to be hurricane? We often travel to New England in the autumn to see the bright colors of the hurricane. Who wants to do that? Right? Again, using your context clues and also process of elimination. We often travel to New England in the autumn to see the bright colors of the fall plays. Doesn't make sense, does it? We often travel to New England in the autumn to see the bright colors of the fall snow. Snow's not going to have any bright color except white. Or yellow sometimes if there's pets nearby. And last choice, which is going to be the obvious choice, would be D, leaves. Foliage is another way of saying leaves that are on a tree. Okay? So we often travel to New England in the autumn to see the bright colors of the fall foliage, fall leaves. Because that's the reason why we call it fall. Because leaves are falling off the tree. Right? So 5 through 10, you can try on your own. And then I'm going to go down to the next page and see what else I posted here for you. Try to give you a little bit of assistance on that. So going down to the next page. Aha! Around the world in 80 days. Hold on a second. Text message going on. Guys, put them on pause. Okay, so now the next page is actually using context clues in literature. So no more are we looking at just single sentences. We're going to take a look at a whole passage, and that has underlined words in it, and we're going to see if we can figure out what the underlined word means by using the context clues that are around it. Okay. So Liz, student. I'm sitting here next to my dog. He's so cute. Okay. So this is a passage that's from a real book by Jules Verne. So Jules Verne published Around the World in 80 Days in 1873. It's a story of English gentleman, Phineas Fogg, who takes a bet that he can travel around the world in 8 days. This was almost impossible in those days with limited railroads and no air travel at all. The passage below is when Fogg tells his servant Passepartout, I think, I'm reading that correctly, to prepare for the trip. Read the passage and pay special attention to the underlined words. Complete the grid at the bottom of the page. So let me help you get started with that. Okay. So what we have here, you see our underlined words, right? You see the first underlined word is overspread. And then try to tell me what part of speech it is, what do you think it means, and what were your clues that went over there. Okay, so I'm going to read the first paragraph with you. It says, we start for Dover and Calais in 10 minutes. A puzzled grin overspread Passapartout's round face. Clearly he had not comprehended his master. Okay, so just from right here. Let's read again. We started for Dover and Calais in 10 minutes. Calais in 10 minutes. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing those words right. I've never read the book. A puzzled grin overspread Passapartout's round face. Clearly he had not comprehended his master. Okay, so a puzzled grin overspread his round face. Okay, so just from the context clue here, what do we think that overspread meant? For parts of speech to overspread. So overspread, what kind of part of speech is that? So this is where you're going to tell me if it's a noun, verb, adjective, or I don't think you're going to have any other ones other than noun, verb, or adjective. Should be the only three that are going to be used for this part. Correct. Okay, so overspread. We know what parts of speech that's going to be. That's an adjective. Okay, because it's describing how something is happening. And right now, overspread is going to be an adjective because it's talking about the grin that's on his face. So it's describing the grin. So we're going to sit there and use this as an adjective, though, because it's an act of doing something. Okay, so we have overspread here, and I believe that this one is supposed to be not an adjective, excuse me, it's a verb, because you're doing something here. A little bit more difficult than I thought, but that's right. So overspread. Overspread is an action word. So that means it's going to be a verb for here. Overspread is an action. Okay. It's describing an action word. It's an action word. What do you think it means? Overspread means, a puzzled grin overspread his face. Clearly he had not comprehended his master. Okay, so what does it mean? I'm thinking it's going to mean to do what? You're getting your two words over and spread, right? So it's probably going to cover. Spread over. So if you put cover or spread over here, it would be correct. What were your clues? A puzzled grin overspread his round face. My part would be his round face. Clearly he had not comprehended his master. So my clue right here would be one, is that it was a grin and the round face. So that's what I would put here. My context clues were the grin across his round face. You get what I'm saying. Round face. Okay. Hopefully the next one will go smoother. Okay. So our next word is going to be return. So I'm going to go back up here. Okay. And see what I can do for the word return. So I'm going to continue from the reading. Monsieur is going to leave home? Yes, returned Phileas Fogg. We are going to round the world. All right. Oh, you can tell this is Old English writing too. Again, remember this was in 1873. Yes, returned Phileas Fogg. We're going around the world. Okay, so return. What is this? What does return mean? If it were modern day English, it would probably say yes, replied Phileas Fogg. So the part of speech it's going to be, that's another action. So returning, that's going to be an action word here. So we're going to put this one as a verb. What do you think it means? Like I said, in modern English, it would probably be replied. To return, we return to reply. Okay? And what gave us the clue? For me, it was simply because of the way that it's written. Yes, we have the quotation marks, and then the verb, and then more quotations. Okay? Also, another way that I know that it means replied is because Phileas answered. So I could put that right here. Something like, he answered the question. Ow, let me see, you know what? I'm going to actually use my text box. He answered the question. He answered the question. That's pretty nifty too. Go back. Okay. And put there. Or he. Close enough. You get what I'm saying. So, again, time is limited. And that's going to be it for this page right here. I'm going to do another video to do part 3 to go through the rest of the assignments.